Hello, everyone, and welcome to ClubRunner Experience, our very first annual user conference. We wanted to launch this event to bring Rotarians together to learn all about the latest ClubRunner updates, get ideas on best practices, and leave with tons of takeaways you can implement immediately within your club. We have a jam-packed schedule over the next couple of days with a variety of sessions planned for you, and we can't wait to share that with you. ClubRunner has attended 13 Rotary International Conventions since our first one in 2005. And as many of you know, that was in Chicago in the centennial year. We look forward to meeting every club president, secretary, website administrator, bulletin editor, and more. We've made so many great friends over the years and celebrated successes together. This is really where we get the energy and the motivation, as well as the great feedback on ClubRunner that helps us shape the product. So while we cannot see each other face to face today, we can still connect. The next 2 days present an opportunity to not only learn a little bit more about how technology can make your life easier, as we'll dive into all aspects of ClubRunner, but also to share in best practices. So we're going to invite you to post your ideas on what has worked well within your club, maybe what hasn't, so that everyone can collectively benefit. So while it's through a vastly different format, we're hoping that this event will allow us to keep that connection and conversation going, and that this knowledge can be shared as we do in a convention. 2020 has been an interesting year, and this will undoubtedly be a very different Rotary year. Many of you shared that you're hoping to learn how other clubs have adapted their operations and strategies, and we aim to create a space for this conversation within all of our sessions. In early April, we held a webinar where we invited Rotarians from around the world to join as panelists and speak on how their clubs and districts responded. Over 500 people attended this webinar, and the ideas and conversation that transpired in that event was truly inspiring. Rotary introduced the Rotary Response hashtag on social media, which is still very much an active tag. If you simply do a search on Facebook or Twitter, you will find amazing stories on what clubs are doing all over the world. But let me pause here for a minute and think about technology and its role in our lives. With everyone shifting to virtual or digital, the need for technology really comes forward. And if we take a look at January of this year until today, the stats that you're seeing on your screen really tell us a story. We actually saw an uptick in activity on the ClubRunner platform. And from our perspective, for as long as we've been part of your journey since 2005, we wanted to share some of these metrics. So in just this calendar year alone, clubs all around the world have created this much content on the ClubRunner platform. You sent out nearly 25 million emails in these 8 months, created 187,000 new web pages, including 43,000 speakers added 68,000 new contacts into the system. And in terms of events, over 28,000 events were created this year, which also had 1,000 volunteer sign-up forms, which encompassed 16,000 volunteer tasks. So this goes to show that even a pandemic could not stop clubs from forging on and advancing their mission. I can't wait to see what these numbers look like by the end of the year. So ladies and gentlemen, what do we have in store for you? We've got 2 full days of content and training where we hope you will take away ideas and skills on how you can better use ClubRunner. Our session schedule is online. You're welcome to hop in and out of the conference as the topics interest you. Each session will be recorded individually and posted online for you to be able to share with other club members. We're also broadcasting live on YouTube, and that link will be can be shared with other club members who may not have registered. We want to make this an interactive event, so please don't hesitate to post your questions in the Q&A for our team to answer. And we also want to make this a forum where you can hold discussions and interact with each other, as I'm seeing is already happening in the chat. And lastly, I want to invite you to tweet with us on social media using our hashtag for this event, which is CRX2020. And that will enter you in our draw for some fun prizes. So, tweet what you're learning, any aha moments that you may have. Please don't be shy. When you registered for this conference, you were asked what you were most excited about. Here are the most common words used in the responses. What this shows us is how excited you are to learn, grow, and succeed. And so that is exactly what we will endeavor to do to help lead you down the path to membership success. I hope everyone's as excited as we are to get started and looking forward to a couple of wonderful days with you. So to kick off our conference, I'm happy to introduce our Master of Ceremony, Mickey Dutta. Mickey's been a part of the ClubRunner team for 5 years as a product specialist. Many of you may know him and interacted with him over some of the conventions and pets, or even just by email or phone. And he's going to be hosting us over the next couple of days. Take it away, Mickey.
Hi, good morning, Halle, and good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. Boy, we're really excited. This has been an exciting week leading up to today and tomorrow. I want to welcome you all as well to the virtual conference. This is our first ever and annual. We hope to keep the ball rolling, and we're really excited. My role for the entire conference is to try to keep things going, and we're going to take little breaks throughout the conference, obviously. So I'll just be coming in and out during the conference. Now, I want to cover some ground rules. And one of the big things, and you'll be hearing me repeat this pretty much for the entire conference, the link that you obtained for your Zoom link, that is like your ticket. If you leave, you can use the Zoom link, come on back in. That's good for the entire 2 days. So just keep that Zoom link handy if you need to leave for any reason, or you can't, of course, attend all the events. And then also, what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of housekeeping in terms of, we're going to try to make this as interactive as possible. I can see right now the chat is already lively. That is fantastic. We encourage you to chat and ask questions live during the webinar session. So if we're going to be doing bulletins today and some other webinars. If you want to ask any questions pertaining to that topic, please do so. You will notice that there's a chat and there's a Q&A. And actually, before I get to that, you know what? I missed something. So what I want to talk about first, before we get to chat and Q&A, is polls. Let's go over the concept of polls, okay? So bear with me. I'm actually going to bring up the first poll. So there we go. Okay, give me 1 second, please. So this is a poll. Let me just launch this. All right. Now, all of you should see essentially it's a multiple choice question or set of questions. It might not be for every session, but for as many sessions as possible, we're going to have at least one poll, okay? And it's going to be a chance for you to give feedback to everyone live. And if you're thinking no one's going to read this, everyone is going to read this. In fact, I'm going to allow a minute or two. Like, this is actually a good chance for me to talk about Q&A and chat. But I can see already people filling in the polls. Thank you so much. This is really exciting for us because we're going to see your feedback live. I can share the feedback. And like Halle mentioned, everything is being recorded. And we're going to check everything. So your feedback and input is so valuable. And just know whenever we put all this up, whenever you ask a question, it's all really valuable information that we are going to store and review after the fact. I'm going to leave the poll up for a little bit so that everybody can just have a read. I'm going to keep going with the chat and the Q&A. Okay, so you'll have a chat room or a chat section and a Q&A section. So the chat is for you and all of the attendees. If I notice already some people are saying I'm president of such and such a club, fantastic. It's basically your meeting room. You can talk to other Rotarians or other members, anything you'd like. Now remember, we are being recorded, so please no personal information like emails or phone numbers, because it is being recorded. Your name is absolutely fine. You know which Rotary Club you're from. Now that's the chat room for the attendees. The Q&A is a live way for you to ask, contact the team. So let's say, for example, I'll take the example of the bulletin webinar. If you have in the middle of the session, if there's something that is confusing or you're not sure about, you can not only ask a question, but we have a dedicated panelist, a dedicated member of our team who's going to try and answer all your questions live. We'll do our best to answer it in a timely fashion, but if you post a question, we'll do our best to answer the question live. That's what the Q&A is for. So we have the chat room and the Q&A room. I believe that everybody has taken a look at the poll. I'm gonna put it up just for one more moment, okay? We're gonna end the polling in just a moment here. So like I said, if you need any assistance from our team, from the ClubRunner team, that goes in Q&A. If you want to talk to all the guests and attendees, please do post in the chat room. And you can do this throughout the day. We really encourage you to be interactive. We actually are relying on your Q&A. We hope that we get questions during the seminar so that we can answer them for you. So I am going to end the polling. And one of the last things I want to show you, thank you so much for everybody who did the poll. I'm going to end it, and then I'm going to share the results. So this is just to show you that we can actually do all this live. So not only can we tally the results, we can display them for you live. Okay, so and this was a great poll, and thank you very much. And now this has all been recorded. Okay, I'm going to here. Let me just stop this. Okay. And I'll close this off. What I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce our first panelists. And right now, Zach and Shawn, our two team members, they're going to be talking about what's new this Rotary year. And I'm not going to delay anything at all. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Zach. And whenever you're ready, Zach, please do take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first session this morning. It's going to be what's new this Rotary year. I am Zach Woods here. I am currently the product owner and lead product specialist for ClubRunner, and joining me is one of our co-hosts here, Shawn. He is also a product specialist and works with us every day on the product. Say good morning, Shawn. I don't know if you guys can see him there, but he is there right along with me. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to jump right over into our a session for our agenda for this session. So we're going to be going over our new donations beta module, the online meeting improvements we've made, our new administrative dashboards, our new functionality for add and transfer member forms, some new widgets we've released to make your guys' lives a little bit easier, and some security and performance improvements that we've been working on. And I am almost positive we are going to have time for some Q&A at the end, so I hope we see some great questions there. So I'm going to go ahead and get us transitioned into our website here. So I believe I have it up here and you guys can see all of that. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and keep running right along. So getting started first, we have our new donations beta module, and you can actually see here on our demo site for the ClubRunner experience that we've already got this nice big donate button set up. And so I'm going to jump into that in just a minute. But the big thing I wanted to touch on right now is our donations module is in beta right now. We have payment support for our North American payment providers because those are our most widely used, but more payment providers and more support for more regions will be coming in the near future. So to show you guys a quick overview of how this works, I am going to go ahead and jump right in and hit this donate button. And it's going to bring us to this relatively simple form because this is the current configuration of it. This is more or less, or not more or less, this would be very similar to what you guys get right when you set it up, and you can customize it pretty heavily. So what happens here is you click on the donate as a guest of your website. You can see the message or text that you set up. You can select a donation amount, and these are the amounts that we have pre-set up for our demo here. I can choose an amount. I hit donate. It takes me right into the page here, and I would fill it out and save it. And then that would submit a donation right to right to our club into whatever foundation account that we have set up. I'm going to go ahead and head into the members area real quick so we can show off some of the back-end functionality and how this actually works. So if I head right into the members area, we can see our new administrative dashboards, which we'll be circling back to in just a few minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and select the donations beta tab here. And then I'm going to go right into the donation settings. So on our donation settings page, you can see that we have it's relatively straightforward. I can see the title of our page. Right now, I don't have freeform amounts, and I think that's something, I only have these selected available amounts set up, so I think we can go ahead and change that. And we can see some really basic information like, the confirmation that the members get when they're done, and et cetera. So let's jump right in and go ahead and edit. So when you hit edit, it will bring you up all the settings that we were just looking over. So if you wanted to change the title of the page or the title of the form, you can do that. One of the things I do want to do is allow a free form amount. And what this means is that someone who visits the page can say, oh, I don't want to donate $50. I want to donate $75. I want to donate $1,000. I want to donate $5,000. Basically any value that they want to donate for. If we had set up our own donation confirmation templates, or we wanted to customize the standard one heavily, we could do that. I don't have one set up here, but it is absolutely possible, and we'll touch on that very quickly. We can set more available amounts. So if I wanted another high value here, I could very easily just go ahead and add that in. Your description is right, basically right here. And I'm going to go ahead and steal a description from another website that I already have set up and ready to go. And we're going to copy and paste that in there. Oh no. It's not, I can't get the full donation. I'm so sorry, guys. I had a prepared thing. So let's go ahead and jump right into our image library and show off the functionality that you guys would be able to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop into our image properties here. I'm going to hit browse server. And because this is Rotary related, I'm going to jump right into those Rotary images, which are fantastic. You don't have to go to the brand center. We keep a lot of the very important ones in here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the Rotary master brand. Assuming I can find the correct one here, we'll go with the simple digital one. I'm going to go ahead and set it to be 300 pixels wide, so it's nice and big. I'm going to go ahead and very quickly center that. I think under normal circumstances, I'd have a bit more text to add and change here, and a bit more text to add here, but unfortunately I don't have access to that text, and I do apologize. But if there were any other changes, for example, if, right now Flory in our club here is our foundation chair, so that's who we have all of our messages coming from. But if there was someone else, or we just wanted to have it come from the club, we could absolutely do that. We could have this come from the Rotary Club of ClubRunner, and we could have a completely different email address. So, if this was ours, we could change it to support@clubrunner.ca, and fantastic, and done. So I'll go ahead and hit save. And now that I've made those changes, we should be able to see that on the website. So if I head back out to our homepage here, I can click back on our donate button. And you will see that the changes that we quickly made in the back, in the settings page have already been reflected. My new donation value is now here, in addition to being able to donate any amount that I am interested in. So once you start receiving donations, you can also get a report of this. Your payment provider will have a much more detailed report about the actual totals and information, but you can get absolutely get a quick report under our donation report. And you can see here that we've had a couple donations over the last day or two here, and we've been taking in some money. So if I wanted to change the date range and say, oh, I want everything from now and, from May 1st until now, I can do that. And I can change it to filter any of the, any of the reasonable dates that would be required. And we can also export these results to Excel so we can take them out and do any filtering or analysis outside of ClubRunner. Lastly, we have our donation email template. So if you do want to make a new email template, you can absolutely hit add new template and fill out the template as required. Once you've filled out all of this information, I'm gonna go ahead and cancel since I don't have a new template to do. I could go back to the settings page and I could update it to use the new template that I just added. And once that is done, we'd be good. Like, you guys saw that almost immediately, the moments after I made those changes, it kept going. So the biggest benefit and the biggest takeaway from our new donations module is it made it a lot faster and a lot quicker for clubs to get set up and taking donations and help in, these current troubled times. So moving right along, I want to show you guys some of the meeting improvements we've done. So I'm going to switch back to our website here. I'm going to go to the About Us tab, and I'm going to go to our meeting and location. And here you can see that there's not a lot of information. It definitely tells people where, when we meet, Fridays at 6, and it tells them that we meet at Zoom at our office here at ClubRunner. But it doesn't have any additional information like, oh, we meet every other Tuesday or Friday, or how to join us on Zoom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head right back into the members area here. I'm going to switch back to the tab that I have open for our administrative interface. And you can get to the club information very quickly by using the admin tab and the club info and settings. And if you were on the administrative screen, there is also a link there under organization, under that organization block. So I'm going to use the menu option here to go to club info and settings. And you can see here that we have our meeting information here, and we have some new settings like meeting comments. So if I click edit here and it pops up, it'll show us all the information. And this one I do have ready for us. So I'm going to go ahead and put our meeting comments in, and this will show publicly to all the visitors of our website. And I also want to mark that our club meets online. And fortunately, I have pre-filled this information. That's a really nice feature. If you guys do stop meeting online and you uncheck this, it hides the information, and checking it turns it back on. So I've already got our Zoom link in here, and I've got our private details. And the really important thing to note about the private details is this information is available to not only your club members, but your district members as well, if the district is a subscriber to ClubRunner. So we've got all of our information in here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And you can now see that we've got all of that information entered. I'm going to switch back to our our meeting page here on the public part of our website, and I'm going to reload this page. And you can see now the club information widget has updated. And I want to pay very special attention to these private details. I am a logged in member, so I am able to see these details. And a very quick way to confirm that, or if you're ever concerned about what you're looking at is maybe not what the public is looking at, most browsers have a private browsing mode. And since I'm using Chrome here, I'm going to use an incognito window. When I open up an incognito window, it throws out all of my session data, the fact that I'm logged in, all of my cookies, and this is what a guest would see. So as you can see here on that page, it says you can join us online, but you need to log in to view the details. And if I click this and I logged in, and when the page came back, it would be back to my members area. But if I'm not logged in, I will not see that private information. All right. So, very quickly, we will go up to our district website. This is one of our demo districts, and I am going to go to the club directory. I'm going to manually type that in. And you can see here that our ClubRunner Experience 2020 has all that same information. And once again, I am a guest, so I cannot view all of those details. But if I was logged in and I was a member, I would see those pertinent, details for just our club. All right, so let's switch back to the administrative area, because I'm really excited to show off these new welcome dashboards that we have been working on for quite some time. So one of the things that we've heard the most feedback over, especially during my time here in the last 5 years, is that the our classic admin panel, while it was great for site administrators, for regular members frequently, it was overwhelming and there was too much that they couldn't do. So we took all of that feedback and we rolled up these new administrative dashboards. And the great thing is they are customized to each user experience that will be using ClubRunner. So administrators, you still have all the tools at your disposal that you've always had. It's arranged a little bit differently, hopefully into good logical sections that help figure out where things are. But as you move down and you have less access, so we can switch over to the executives tab here, you'll see that it'll change a little bit. Now, club executives lose the website management, the ability to manage the entire website, so you can see that that section is gone now. And as we continue moving down towards editors, for example, editors are typically people who are putting content into the website. So they have our same general good help information up here at the top and quick links, but for them, we focus only on the tools that they absolutely need. Not, they're not seeing anything about membership management because they can't deal with membership management. They're not seeing anything about RI integration because they can't interact with those things. And if we move all the way down, we have our members section. And you guys can see that the members section is quite radically different. There's nothing about creating content or managing the website. It's the information the club member needs to continue working with the program. So they have quick links to jump right into the sections that are most relevant to them, and access to information that would be useful to help them keep in contact with the club, view information about the club, and view the events and signups and volunteering data that the club has on them. So if I was a regular member, when I logged in, I would only see these members tabs. So the more access you have, the more dashboards you'll have access to, and the more tools you'll have access and quick access to. Right now, these new dashboards are only available for our club customers, but we are hoping to have administrative dashboards for our districts as well in the near future. Another thing I'm really excited to show off is our brand new add member form. And I won't be able to show off the transfer member form today because this is not a Rotary integrated account. We can only show off the transfer member functionality with integration enabled, but I'll touch on the features and how that works. But if you guys join me tomorrow for our RI integration training webinar, I will be showing off the add and transfer member forms and all the new protections and functionality that is involved with it in much greater detail. But still, let's jump right in there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add new member. And this brings us to our new add member form. And so you guys can see that we've taken the time to try and rearrange some of the information more logically and take away some of the information that wasn't relevant. And I know another thing that we'd seen reports of is sponsors not going up to Rotary International. So now instead of just a plain text field by default, you can select a member of your club who'd be eligible to sponsor them. And if you still want to use a non-member or a non-integrated member that Rotary can't track, you'll still be able to do that after you've added the member to the member to the club. So just like before, all the relevant details are here on this page. They're just grouped a little bit differently. And if we go through and fill this out, so I want to add a new active member. I don't have a Rotary ID for this person because they're brand new, but I can go through and quickly fill this out. I'm going to put in my own information. Let's see, macwoods at syncgrid.net. I am a man. And I will put my work address in. Of course, the actual country for this club is set to the United States, which is why it is defaulting to the US and not Canada. And we'll put Ontario. And you can see all of the things that used to work still work absolutely phenomenally. So because this club isn't integrated, we can't enable the integration options, but one of the biggest features that we've actually added to this, which I can't show off right now because this isn't a Rotary club in the sense that Rotary, like this is not a formally chartered club. With integration enabled, when I hit add member, what actually happens is we will now proactively search Rotary International's database to find potential matching members based on the member's name and location that you're entering for them, their email address, and a Rotary ID if you provide it. And the biggest benefit to this is the fact that it will help significantly reduce integration errors, both for the club and Rotary International, but also duplication of member information. Frequently, a member doesn't realize that their ID travels with them when they go to club, or maybe over the years, their name has changed or their details have changed. This will help keep members linked. So for example, if I had entered a Rotary ID and I hit add member, and let's say my name was slightly different at Rotary International. Maybe I had a different first name or last name. We'd actually get a prompt that would pop up and show us here are potential matches. We could select a better match, or we could continue with exactly the information that we've already entered. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add member, and you guys are going to see, just like before, it works the same way. It always does, and it adds a member directly into the system. The advantage is here, if we had Rotary International integration enabled on this account, it would have done some proactive searching to help reduce any problems that you guys would have on that issue, on those issues. So I just want to touch on the security of the form, the add member forms and the transfer member forms, which I can't show you guys too much more right now, but I will be able to show you tomorrow. It follows all the same guidelines that Rotary has. It's only available to, at the club level, it's only available to appropriate club staff members. And the information that comes back is very sanitized. It's only the information that we either searched for and the very limited information that Rotary International provides for its members. But we'll definitely cover that in greater detail tomorrow. So the next thing I wanted to absolutely show off to you guys is some new widgets that we've had. So something that we have heard a lot about from our Facebook, the Facebook guide that we had on our website, is it was a little complicated to follow, and in some cases it wasn't always clear from Facebook's end which of the bits of code that you needed. So we made that a lot easier for you guys. We now have a dedicated Facebook plugin widget, and apparently the menu did not publish this morning. That is my fault. So I'm going to go ahead and publish that menu, and hopefully I added that link. I absolutely did. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page here. And there's my Facebook page plugin. So we're going to go ahead and start there. So now that this page is loaded, we actually have two copies of the Facebook page plugin shown off here in two completely different configurations. On the top left-hand side here, we have a link to the ClubRunner Facebook page. But the only thing we're actually pulling is the header information, the name of the account, and the like button. We're not showing off anything else. And this is a great way if you guys want to drive more likes to your page, for your Facebook page, and not just likes for your club's website. Likes for your Facebook page help drive engagement and outreach. So it's really great when you get more members in your community being able to like your page and drive more adoption and engagement on your messages on their Facebook accounts. We also have the Rotary International feed here set up, and this is how most clubs, I think, end up using their Facebook feed. We're using it previously was just in this configuration. So they go to Facebook, they type in their information, they'd copy and paste, and it would come back at something like this. So if your Facebook page is more frequently updated, or that's where you're putting a lot of your information, you can embed those feeds right back on your club's website. This could be our homepage if we wanted it to be. There'd be nothing stopping us from doing that. And I want to show you guys very quickly how quick and easy it is to set up another Facebook feed. So a feature that we've actually shown off in the past here is our new blue edit button. So when you are logged in as an administrator or someone who has appropriate access to edit a page or content that you're looking at, you can go ahead and hit that big blue pencil button. And what it'll do is it'll throw you right into our website live designer, which is ready to go. And we're already here. So I'm going to go down to the bulletins and PR because that is where the Facebook page plugin widget is. I'm going to come down here to our big plus sign one. And I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop it right into the top of this right column here. And so you guys can see the second we drop it in, it defaults to Facebook because that's the default. That's even what Facebook goes in the default then. So what we can do, and as you can see, this is that same configuration as that ClubRunner widget. If we hover over the widget and we click on that settings cog here, we'll get a pop-up that'll show us all of the properties that we can control. And of course, like normal, we have all of our generalized properties, but then we have all of the fun Facebook plugin settings. So one little asterisk on this is that this can only be used by Facebook pages. It can't be used by groups. So if you have a group, Facebook doesn't make much functionality available for groups, but pages they've got. So if we wanted to, we can change this to another Facebook page. So I am going to borrow Rotary 7080, which is our local Rotary district here in the Toronto, what part of the Toronto area anyway. And I'm going to choose to show the timeline tab, and that's it. I don't want to show events. I don't want to show messages. I'll go ahead and enable the smaller header. I'll go ahead and enable the hide cover photo, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And as soon as I do, it will refresh. And now we see the Rotary 7080 Facebook feed right from their website. So let's go ahead and publish this. As soon as I hit publish, the request to update the website has gone through, and under normal circumstances, within just a few seconds, that will be updated. So I'm going to switch back to our homepage here, or our Facebook page rather, and I'm going to go ahead and reload that page. And you can now see the Rotary District 7080 Facebook page plugin is there, and it was relatively easy and straightforward to get set up. All right, so the other thing I'm really excited to show you guys widget-wise is our new dynamic carousels. So a lot of you are familiar with our photo carousels, and they are great, but it didn't allow a lot of extra control. The only thing you were really able to do is pull your slideshow of your album, and that was it. Whatever your album was, that was the content of your carousel. So what we have done is we have redesigned the carousel widget into a new widget called dynamic carousels. So there are more options for appearance, transitions, interface control, text and links, HTML, basically great thing. So here is the current, if you guys aren't aware, I know leading up to Hamburg, Rotary has this great People of Action brand center resource, and you can go to that brand center resource as Rotarians, sign into My Rotary, and put your own club photos behind these same words. And the brand center will help get you into that place, and I would really encourage you guys to go check that out. So here we have actually a new dynamic carousel. It's not that, it doesn't show off a lot right here, but there's some key features that I see that I want to share with you guys. So the other thing that's really nice about these newer carousels is they actually have better support for mobile and accessibility. So here I can actually drag the slides left and right, which wasn't possible before. And there isn't actually too much going on with this fun new carousel besides the pictures. But if we go to our carousel demo B, we're going to see an entirely different style of carousel. So here you guys can see that we have different slide indicators, different animation, and different displays. And when we, as it continues to cycle through, you can see it changing. So you can have anywhere between 1 and 1,000 slides. We would really recommend keeping it under 10 because these carousel images can be large, but it's really at the club's discretion on how much or how little they put into the carousel. And then I'm going to show you our last very fancy carousel demo here. And so this is this is taking advantage of a lot of the power of the new dynamic carousel. So this has a completely different fade transition. I've disabled the dots, and as you guys see it rotating through here, I actually have text embedded on top of our carousels, and these were done with HTML. Like this is not just putting a title and a description in. I've gone in and I've customized it. So if we wanted to take a look at how this is set up and the information that we have available to customize this, I'm once again going to rely on our great little quick edit button here. And it brings us right into our page with our dynamic carousel on it. And if I am ready, I have two options. I can either jump in and do a full edit, or I can just adjust the properties. Let's go ahead and jump into the full edit so you guys can see how this works. So here is our dynamic carousel creator. And you can see that we can keep a description for that. It's relatively straightforward. It's mostly just for you guys. And then we have all of our widget properties. So you can see that we have the title off, we have the fade animation, we have the transition time at 5 seconds, and we have a whole bunch of new controls that weren't always possible before. We can either choose to bulk upload slides, much like you can bulk upload photos to photo albums, or you can upload individual slides as well, one at a time. And I'll quickly jump in and show you guys what that would look like. So when I hit upload slide, it'll present a pop-up to me asking me to pick an image out of our image library. I can go ahead and hit load from image library, and this will bring us our carousel folder so I can see our other dynamic carousels. And I could also, of course, go grab some Rotary images, of which we do have some carousel photos in here. They're slightly different than the photos I have in here, but for the purposes of this demonstration, they will work fantastically. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this photo right here. That will add the photo. I could show a title. And then I can put text and HTML in here like I would, you know, any other day. So I'm gonna just go borrow some text, and I'm gonna steal our Rotary at a glance text here. I'm gonna head back in. I'm gonna paste that text right in there. And I want to align this to the left, and I want to make sure that this text is bold, and I want to make sure that the color is black. And I also want to make sure that this color is black, and I want to set actually a larger heading on that. So I'm going to set it to an H2. So I've got my text and my image. I'm going to enable, this is really low. I'm going to enable the show slide description on the carousel. I'm not going to do a link for this individual carousel, but that is also an option. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. The change to my carousel is in now. So I am going to go back to our carousel demo page. I'm going to scroll back up the page, and I'm going to reload it. And if I transition over to our next image, you can see the image. So now, at this point, I would definitely want to go back into my carousel and spend a little bit more time either getting the background colors right, or other text right, or maybe even picking a different image. But you guys can see the power that it really lets you choose what you want and overlay information onto it, unlike the old the photo carousels, which was just a quick, here's all the photos in this gallery. All right, so now I'm going to move on to a little bit more, I don't want to say boring, but less exciting things for some of us. So over the last couple years, you guys may or may not be aware that we have been working to update or renovate ClubRunner. A lot of this initial renovation has been completed. And part of that renovation was improving our SSL and HTTPS management. And I know this isn't always like the most exciting thing, but I think it's really important to touch on. We originally decided to build our own in-house solution for managing and deploying HTTPS support across the ClubRunner platform. Over time, as it grew in adoption and more customers use it, we started to identify some key issues that were going to cause problems as we move forward. And I definitely know there were customers letting us know about some of the issues that they were running into it. And once we were armed with that knowledge, we had to find a solution to this. After a ton of research, we identified Cloudflare would be able to provide us the features and functionality that both we needed and that customers would need to have good support for HTTPS with less outages and less downtimes. So ClubRunner is now an enterprise partner with Cloudflare, which is helping us provide the HTTPS infrastructure for all of our club websites on custom domains. So, you know, here we're on our demo site here, we are on an internal domain, portal.clubrunner.ca. But if you had your own domain like rotary7080.org or, you know, Rotary Club of Toronto or Royal Rosarians, that they use that same technology, which really helps, you know, eliminate downtime and eliminate some of the issues that we had with our classic HTTPS management. So that is the bulk of my presentation this morning for our What's New in ClubRunner. I really do hope you guys will join me tomorrow at 4 to get a sneak peek of what the future of ClubRunner is going to hold for everybody. And we'd also love to hear a lot more feedback from you on what you guys would like to see. Please keep adding those questions and answers. I would like to invite all of you to join our community at clubrunnercommunity.com. The great thing is it uses your same ClubRunner login information. If you're a first-time joiner on the community, you'll be encouraged to set up a profile, and once your profile is set up, you can continue to log in with your same ClubRunner credentials, and you can interact not only with our team, but with other members of the ClubRunner platform at large. Your contributions absolutely help shape the future of the product, and I'm excited to see what you guys have to share with us, not only this weekend, but going forward.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Zach. And with that, I guess we will open up the Q&A session. We do have quite a few questions coming in here. We are trying to stay on top of them, but there are a few here that we'd like to answer. So we'll start off. Dave asked, will the search algorithm with RI find previous Rotary members? So I can definitely answer that. Yes. So as long as if you're adding a new member, as long as the first name, last name, and email address match, it will find that record at Rotary and use that same Rotary number. So you don't have to worry about entering a duplicate. And with our new transfer member page, we've actually made that even easier. So you can search for the member. If they do exist at Rotary, you can simply add them to the club through there. So yes, we do have that. It will search Rotary for existing members. And Zach, we do have a question here about the donation page. Bruce is asking, how does the general public access the donation page? So how can we make that donation page more public?
So I think that the easiest thing, making the donation page accessible by the public is absolutely just having it up in your menu bar with some big call to action button like I do here. But you guys could, there's tons of other things that we could do with that. So I'm very quickly going to jump into the website editor for our homepage here. And if we wanted something more, something a little bit more, call to action, like really driving attention to it, we could definitely do something like one of these articles. I could drag some information right in here. I could type, I could put in the information, hey, donate to our cause today. I could put text in here telling people like what their donations are going to go to. And then very quickly, I would go into the button here. I would relabel it Donate Now. And I can have it point to our donate page, which in this case is going to be so the address is always /donate for your club account. So if you're using a custom domain, again, I'll lean back on our rotarytoronto.com example, it'd be rotarytoronto.com/donate. So it's always just going to be /donate at the end of whatever your address is. And we will be making this link available into the dropdown at some point in the future. So I went ahead and set that up so I can do a couple other things very quickly here just to to show off how that might look. I'm going to go ahead and very quickly publish the page. And if I switch back to our homepage and I refresh, we now have our big call to action.
Perfect. Thank you very much for going through that, Zach. We do have a time for a couple more questions here. We have a question from Angel. She likes the dashboards, but is wondering if the old dashboard is going to stay active, and if so, do we know how long?
So I think I could take that. So the new dashboard, the classic dashboard will be staying around for a while. We've had a lot of great feedback. We definitely know there's a few minor things that people would like to see addressed, and we're basically going to make sure that all of the old links or anything that clubs have made accessible will be on the new dashboards before we choose to retire the classic dashboards. And I'm very sure we will give a little bit of heads up on that before that happens.
Perfect. And then we have a question about the carousels. Angel was also asking if we have a recommended image size for the carousels.
So that gets into a little bit of subjective terms, but I know what I shoot for a lot of the times is about 1600 by 350. That's 1600 pixels wide by 350 pixels tall. It makes pretty nice and consistent images, and they scale pretty well both up to much larger resolutions, if people have those 4K monitors, and they also end up looking pretty good at smaller resolutions. And the other reason that I've chosen this size is most frequently, I also find that I can keep the image size relatively small when I'm preparing those images, because you do want to consider the size of the image, because it does add to the time it takes for the page to load. So like it's kind of a balancing act on how you want the photo to look on the page against the size of the photo, both dimension wise, like display size and storage size. So you'll probably need to play around what works for you, and what works for us may not work for you. But the biggest suggestion I can give you, like the best practice I can give you, is once you've settled on a very specific size. Let's say your first photo is 1200 by 200. I don't know why I picked that, but I did. You want to keep all of your other photos those exact same dimensions or ratios. So you could double that and go to 2400 by 400, and the photos would appear identical to each other. Without someone actually looking at it, they would definitely know, they would not be able to tell the difference. Where you get into trouble with the carousels is mixing and matching different resolutions with different aspect ratios, like a portrait versus a landscape.
Perfect. And we have another question here. This one's going back to donations. We've had a few questions. What is the cost of the donations, and what do I need to get started with it?
So the donation module, as I mentioned earlier, is currently in beta, and it supports all of our North American payment providers at this time. So if your club already has a partnered payment provider with ClubRunner, you can actually see these right here on the left-hand side of the page. So if you have a US payment account or a Canadian payment account, that's going to be Bambora or Sage. You can currently get started with that right now. If you need any of the pricing details, they are available on site.clubrunner.ca under features with online payments. And I definitely know we can, so basically the pricing will be down to having that partnered payment provider. There's no additional cost from ClubRunner besides the actual having that partnered payment account.
Okay, just going through the questions here. We do have quite a bit. We have a question here from Marie. Do we have any suggestions if a club is meeting both partially in person and online through Zoom?
I think the best way to handle that is with your club information. So if we head back into the club info and settings page, I would put that information directly into your meeting comments. So if it's something for members, if it's a member only thing, you'd want to keep that in those private meeting details. But if it was a public thing, you could absolutely put those into the comments. And of course, oh, there it goes, right when it comes up. So, instead of in-person meetings are canceled, we have limited capacity. Go with seating because I can spell that better. So you could include those details in there. And of course, if you guys had any other specific details like, oh, we meet on the first, second, and third Friday or anything else like that, that is where those meeting comments are relevant. And of course, like if you did have, again, stuff that would be specific to the club, use those private meeting details instead.
Thank you, Zach. Okay, we have another question here for donations. When making a donation, can someone donate anonymously?
So yes and no. Right, we don't have a specific like anonymous donation feature, but I do know that was something that we've considered and something we'll probably be looking at in the future again. But of course, they can put whatever name they want on the donation. The only way you guys would be able to link it up would be their credit card details, because someone will have access to that data. So I can't imagine us not doing something like that in the future.
Thank you, Zach. And we do actually have a few different people asking about access to edit the donation module. So what access do we need to make changes to that module?
It should be, and I'm being put on the spot here, it should be level 50 and better. So that's club executives, presidents, and administrators. Those are basically the same people who could administrate the dues and billing, so that is matching functionality. In most, just as a general comment, in most cases, whenever it comes to viewing sensitive member information or making configuration changes about like how clubs are receiving money or anything else like that, access at level 50 is where that starts. So you need to be level 50 or better.
Okay, and we have another question here. They're very excited about the Facebook widget, but is wondering about other social media platforms and how we can, in general, embed things into the website.
Absolutely. So I am going to head over to youtube.com here, and I'm going to try to pull up the Rotary International page. Just Rotary. Yes, it is. Fantastic. First try. Oh, this channel doesn't have any videos. I think it is Rotary International. Rotary International. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that video from playing. But I am going to very quickly copy the video URL. And then, because this is the video that I want to add to our page, I'm going to head back to our club website. And I'll do some navigation in the back end. So I'm going to go choose new website beta here. I'm going to go to our custom page library. I am going to head over to our Facebook page. And now that I'm here on this page, I am going to use a custom page specific widget. I'm going to drag and drop that widget right in here. Now that the widget has been added to the page, I can go in and edit it. And I believe this is the current best embed media option. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this and hit OK. It should, nope, it did not. I chose the wrong one. This one. Need to get that. We need to get these other ones out, but you can see the video was actually added here. It was very quickly added, but it is responsive friendly. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and publish. I'm going to very quickly come into the custom widget properties here because I want to clean some stuff up. I want to take the border off. I don't need to show this title. I just want this video to be embedded. My mouse scroll wheel is fighting with me here a little bit this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this page. And just to show off another great, nice new feature of our live designer, we have this great little view live page here. So if you are already in the backend and you didn't come from the public portion of the website, you can use this to basically reverse what the quick edit button does and jump right to the page. So you can see here that our video is now part of this page. And it's so big because this is where we've actually added it. So just to show like, oh, you know, we didn't like where that is, I'm going to jump right back into the back end and I'm going to drag that video and I'm going to drop it right at the top of our section here. I'll come back up, I'll publish my change, and then I'll head right back out to the website and I will reload it. And we can see that the video has changed. And if I click play, it'll start playing.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Zach. And I think that wraps up our Q&A session. I know we do have a lot of other great questions that came in. I do want to reiterate that we will be going through all of the answers. So if your question was unanswered, don't worry. We will be going through, we'll be answering them, and we will be posting on the ClubRunner community. So you guys do have that information. And I will go ahead and pass it back to Zach to wrap up the session.
All right then. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, guys. I hope everything we showed off was great and that you guys will be able to take advantage of it and really use it to help move forward with your clubs, your goals, all the things that you guys want to do for this new year and the few years going forward.